Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children here of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, RevPro 11th anniversary show. So yeah, RevPro Wrestling out of London, England. They were at the Copper Box Arena. This is their 11th anniversary show. They've been around. I've been following them since 2018-ish. A lot of talented wrestlers in the UK. Far more than a lot of people realize. This is where a lot of the strong style comes from. The British strong style, especially what it's actually called. So we're going to run down this card from the 11th anniversary show of RevPro. You can actually see a best of RevPro 2022 on Robert Sports Show. I actually watched every one of those shows last year and this year. So in January, there'll be another best of, part of my showcase of the independents. Alright, so the first match on the card was the pre-show match. It was for the RevPro Undisputed British Women's Championship #1 contender Battle Royal. So we had Dani Luna, Alexxis Falcon, Chantal Jordon, Maya Matthews, Mercedes Blaze, Rayne Leverkusen, Safire Reed, Skye Blue of AEW, and Skye Smitson. Now, these are all young, talented women. Some of these women have barely been involved in wrestling for not that long at all. There was a couple that, to me, that I've known, I've seen in different matches over time. Alexxis Falcon, I've seen her. Dani Luna, she is part of Subculture. Skye Blue, I've seen her in AEW. The standout for this one here is probably going to be Rayne Leverkusen. I've not seen her at all until here. Her, Rhio, Skye Blue had a good showing to me. And then the eventual winner, Dani Luna, who eliminated Safire Reed in order to get the victory. It was only 10 minutes long. It wasn't a bad opening match. I ended up giving it 3 1/4. Next up, we had Dan Moloney versus Leon Slater. These are two young wrestlers with a ton of potential. That Leon Slater's actually been wrestling some in the U.S. with GCW and some other independent companies. They were both just so great performers. Dan Moloney is actually over some time just kind of developed his body. He was part of the best Super Juniors from New Japan. He was part of Will Ospreay's United Empire, and then he ended up joining Bullet Club. So he's kind of an enemy now of Will Ospreay. Leon Slater, one of the big moves he hits it's a Swanton 450. So it's like almost a Swanton dive. He turns into a 450. Dan Moloney hit a kind of a hidden blade version of like Will Ospreay's hidden blade, kind of a version of that. And then Slater ended up getting that Swanton 450 in for the victory. I ended up giving this match 4-star. This match was super damn good. Two uber talented young wrestlers. Next up, we had the RevPro Undisputed British Cruiserweight title on the line in a 6-way scramble match. We had champion Connor Mills going up against Callum Newman, Jordan Breaks, Robbie X, Shaw Samuels, and Wild Boar. Saul Samuels, he is actually new to the Cruiserweight division. He was a heavyweight who actually made weight. You have to be under 205. He was 204.5. So he was able to be a Cruiserweight. This match was a lot of fun. The typical Cruiserweight scramble match is just a lot of spots. When those spots are good, they're fun. Problem is, sometimes the spots get a little wonky. When you have a guy like a Wild Boar trying to do spots, it looked okay, but sometimes they can be a little iffy. Wild Boar, one of his big spots was he broke up one of the pinfall tents with a package pile driver and then a senton. It's like, what? Everybody, all these cruiserweights got that moment to shine. Robbie X was a big standout. He's always been a standout. Callum Newman, one of those young guys that I actually have been following a lot, just to kind of see where he's going to end up. Shaw Samuel's doing moonsaults. Connor Mills, though, he came in right after I think it was after Saul Shambles' moonsault. Connor Mills threw him out of the ring. Ended up getting a quick pin, 1, 2, 3, or quick little roll up in the corner. Ended up giving it 3 3/4, retaining his RevPro Cruiserweight Championship. Was the one and only Connor Mills. Next up, we had JJ Gale and Kosei Fujita. Fujita, that's how you pronounce it. One of the young lions from New Japan on excursion, and a lot of those young lions will go on excursion in RevPro. This match was kind of really sloppy at the start. It's kind of like slow going. It's like, okay. JJ Gale hit a hurricane and they just kind of went nowhere. The dive that Gale did came up, he kind of missed. It's like, come on, you know. I hate when wrestlers do big spots and just totally whiff. Especially if it's not a spot in the match where it's like, okay, this makes sense, you know, just like you have a Jericho match and Jericho, you go to do a dive and he just steps back and goes, he just steps away and you fall. That's one thing. But some of these are just so just like, what? JJ Gale, he's young, he's talented. He is a submission style wrestler, I guess you would call him. Kind of like this. It's almost like he wants to be Zack Sabre Jr. He actually did a Boston Crab that was actually pretty decent. Fujita is actually a young boy for Team DK, kind of their young lion that they've been training. JJ Gale ended up getting the victory here. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we had El Phantasmo returning to RevPro, teaming up with Ring of Honor Pure Champion Katsuyori Shibata, going up against Bullet Club's War Dogs, David Finlay and Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd, very unique story with him. He started wrestling in the UK, went to New Japan Dojo, the LA Dojo, basically forgot everything he had already done, relearned everything wrestling-wise, and now is coming back up through the Bullet Club as a member of the Bullet Club. Bullet Club. Having Phantasmo and Shibata teaming together, two completely opposite movesets. El Phantasmo is kind of the showboat, high-flying. Shibata is just more technical, more just, I'm going to put you on the mat, I'm going to make you submit. The crowd was just, Shibata and Kidd were wrestling, the crowd was nuts over it. I still want to see a one-on-one with Gabe Kidd and Shibata, because I think it would be really cool. Same way with Phantasmo. I like to see El Phantasmo and Shibata. That would be fun as hell too. But the team of El Phantasmo and Kato Shibata getting the victory, and I'm giving this match 3.5. Next up was actually one of my favorite matches from the show. Probably I would say second best match. We had maybe third best match. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ricky Knight Jr. Ricky Knight Jr., I watched him in a match with Will Ospreay, and he can hang with Will Ospreay on the high-flying moves and everything that Will did. They had a 5-star match last year. Zack Sabre Jr., I've seen him anywhere from technical wizardry to a death match. Yes, Zack Sabre Jr. had a death match versus Nick Gage, and it actually looked good. Ricky Knight was able to get out of the sleep roll by Zack Sabre multiple times. At the end, he ended up submitting to Zack Sabre Jr. Ended up giving this match 3 3/4 star. Next up, we had the RevPro Undisputed British Tag Team Championships on the line. We had champion Subculture Flash Marty Webster, Mark Andrews, who just happened to be also the Impact Wrestling Tag Team Champions. They literally had this show in London on Saturday, flew to America on Sunday to wrestle at the Impact Wrestling Emergence pay-per-view, which was in, let's see, where was Emergence at? In Toronto, so they went to Toronto. They went from London to Toronto to defend their Impact Wrestling Tag Team Championships after having a 11-minute match versus the Velocities, Jude London and Paris Del Silva, where this match was good. It was a little underwhelming to me. I ended up giving it 3.5 with Subculture retaining. I've seen the Velocities put on a 5-star match with Aussie Open, so I know how good they are. This match, it seemed like they didn't have any chemistry. And it's like, I don't know, this match just never got after it. Mark Andrews had a shooting star press on London, and just kind of one of those matches is just kind of there, you know. Subculture retaining their titles. Next up, we had Tomohiro Ishii versus Luke Jacobs. Basically, two hosses just fighting. This was kind of the big men just brawl more than anything, but also you have big men that can hit power bombs and headbutts and suplexes, and they can just still take you apart with that athletic ability, even though they are just two hosses in the ring. Luke Jacobs ended up getting a victory, and I ended up getting a 4-star. Next up, we have the Undisputed British Women's Championship on the line. We had champion Alex Windsor going up against Mickie James, Hardcore Country, and Hyon. I honestly think Mickie took away from this match. I've seen Alex Windsor, I've seen Hyon. I think both of them are just uber talented wrestlers. The match was just kind of eh. I ended up giving it 2 3/4 with Alex Windsor getting the victory. And then sub-main, we had the Undisputed British World Heavyweight Champion on the line, Championship on the line, champion Michael Oku versus Trent Seven. This match started off well, kind of built a story around Trent Seven working on Michael Oku's neck. There was a couple ref bumps, which the refs kind of earned their job on this one because they got taken out multiple times. Unfortunately, Oku and Amir Blair, who is this kind of side piece, I guess what you would call her, a manager, she took a table spot bump. Trent Seven put her through a table. Legit. It's like, holy snap, she took it. It took about a good 5 to 10 minutes, kind of, as they were setting some of these spots up and doing that spot. You're kind of wanting that big kind of middle of the match you really didn't get. You end up having Michael Oku win with a single leg crab. Then you had a video package start playing with Progress Wrestling's World Champion Spike Trivet. Apparently, we're going to do a match with Spike Trivet and Michael Oku. RevPro versus Progress, I'm guessing. I'm all in with it. Two of the best British wrestling companies there are. So that was kind of crazy. Spike Trivet showing up here for a beatdown on Oku. And then giving it the match itself, Oku retaining over Trent Seven, 3 3/4 star. I definitely cannot wait until that happens. The Will Ospreay versus Shinsuke Takagi was the main event. Again, Will Ospreay the next day wrestled Jericho at AEW's All In. I love the fact that we have a Will Ospreay on a RevPro card day before AEW card. We have the Progress champion on this card come into RevPro show. We have New Japan talent here. We have, AEW's Sky Blue. We have part of Bullet Club. we have Will Ospreay going to be actually appearing on Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory. The fact that we can have RevPro, New Japan, AEW, Progress, Impact Wrestling all working together. Wrestlers able to subculture, holding titles in 2 different of these companies. This is the greatest time to be a wrestling fan, especially an independent wrestling fan. Shingo and Will Ospreay, per the Meltzer ratings, they've had 3 previous matches, nothing below 5, nothing. I think the highest was 6. This match, I guess I've seen it so much good. This match was kind of a letdown, to be honest with you. I ended up giving it 4.5 with Will Ospreay getting the victory. And then another one of those crossover moments, we had somebody come out in a El Desperado mask, attack Will Ospreay. Oh my God, it was Chris Jericho setting up their match in AEW for All In. Oh my God, still craziness. But yeah, give it a 4.5 against Shingo and Will Ospreay. Like Will Ospreay, it's only a bad thing when Will Ospreay at AEW last week said he had a indie match. I wish he would have said I got a RevPro match versus Shingo Takagi, but having Jericho show up here, just all the intertwine with all these other companies, this is an amazing time. But that is RevPro's 11th anniversary. Now that they have some new streaming where they can stream live, maybe they'll do a few more of these RevPro shows. Because with Prove It Share, it was always weeks later sometimes. The fact that they're going to put them up in the same day, I can definitely maybe do more of these. But yeah, the more views I get, the more I'll look into do more RevPro shows. But you know what? I love British wrestling. So that's RevPro 11th anniversary review. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. And don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports show content.